Hello and welcome to the new Power BI dashboard tutorial where I will going to show you this Power BI dashboard that is diversity dashboard. So diversity dashboard is basically related to organizational diversity. That means whether you have a good healthy balance of male and female employees as well as you have the good balance or good representation of different races like white, Asian, black or African American, Hispanic, and all of those folks. So this is based on the data, that is being provided about the race and male-female ratio. So what I want to give you is basically a new topic as well as a new design and a step-by-step tutorial so that if you have a requirement where you want to create an organizational dashboard, you can get some inspiration. Also, if you are creating a different type of a dashboard but like the design, then you can use this design as well. Well, this is what I'm showing you today in the Power BI. And yesterday I had created this similar but little bit more visually appealing in Tableau because of the inbuilt capability that Tableau has. So if you want to check out that video or want to learn similar type of a dashboard in Tableau, then you can look at my previous video. But this one will going to be in the Power BI, and that's what I will going to do more and more in coming days. I will show you the dashboard both in Power BI and in Tableau as to how to create it, and we will going to use their capabilities to design it. Now in some cases Power BI may be advanced, but in some cases Tableau may be advanced, but we'll see how this goes. Alright, before I move ahead, just a quick information that I am keeping all of my videos over here in this Google Sheet. As you can see, the title is present in column A and the links are present in column B, so that if you want to look for any other dashboard, like for example HR analytics dashboard that I have published previously, or sales performance dashboard, customer analytics, Twitter dashboard, financial complaint dashboard, all of the different ones which I am producing, you can easily search by dashboard. Also, if you want to learn anything like specific to DAX or any particular visualization like creating visualization parent hierarchy, you can just search it and come over here in column B using the link which is present and jump to it. Alright, so that's something I wanted to make sure that you are aware, so that you can come like a user you are seeing over here. Right, in my previous video also I'm giving this information, so anyone can basically come in and search, which is far more easy to search in the Tableau. So with that information, let me go to the data. So this is the data set if you are watching it very first time, because in the last video HR analytics I have shown this data set. So if you have seen that, you can skip this part, but if you are watching a very first time about the HR analytics series, I have a plan. This is the second video of the series and I will create a third video as well. So if you are watching it first time, then you can go through it. However, the information is very simple. You have the ID, you have the first name and last name of the employees. You have this as the hire date. I don't know what happened over here. Or I will just say hire date, right? Date when they were hired. Sorry, this is not hire date. This because hire date is present here. This is a birth date, as I remember this. So birth underscore date, okay, and then you have the gender, you have the race, department, job title, location, hire date, termination date, location, what location city they have, and the state in the US like Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania and all. So and based on the gender and race, we are talking a lot about this in this dashboard, because that's the entire topic or the central topic about the diversity, right? And then we look at like from the perspective of either entire as a company or by going into different department like engineering or business development and all, and explore this analysis. The only thing is, which I showed in my previous video, is you won't get the dates in a proper format. Like I cleaned this up, and hire date and termination date, I would just suggest that you look up the HR analytics video, for which the link is already present in the description. So that way you can easily see how you can clean this data. But it's all about splitting these values coming over here from data text to columns and then combining it again using the date formula. Like you have, if I say equals to date, you have to provide year, month and day, and year, month and day you will going to find by splitting this value. So this is the month, this is the day, and this is the year, and you will provide these parameters to the date function. If you are not sure, then look at the previous video, because that's something that's going to help you a lot. So once you will clean this up, the hire date and termination date, you will come over here in Tableau and that in Power BI, and you will going to load this, and then the date will come properly. Like you can see this calendar sort of an icon. This will come properly, like birth date, hire date, and there is a termination date. And when the date comes in a proper format, you will be able to see the date hierarchy, like what is the year, month, quarter, month and day. And very useful in scenarios like if you want to see the information by quarter, by month, however you want to see. Hierarchy is by default created by the Power BI. So with that information, one more quick thing I want to tell you in the data set is, if you see, you have the termination date. That means wherever the termination date is present, so we have the hire date and termination date. That means the employee has left the organization. So this is useful in capturing a metric like stay duration, right? So I am creating this metric, stay duration of female employees, and stay duration you can only get to know if you have the start date and end date, right? So this stay duration is a formula that I created. I will show you. And similarly, based on the termination date, we can get to know how many active employee we have. For example, if it is blank, that means employee is still working. So termination date is not present, that means employee is still working and they are with us. And that's basically the simple logic we need to create to find the active employee, and that's what I have done. If you see over here, active employees, I am saying count blank of termination date. So I am counting all these blanks using the Power BI inbuilt function and finding what is my active employee. So that's the sort of understanding you need to develop when you are coming here and interpret the data as to how to do this. So as you can see, the whole idea is that we create some calculations, we create a good design, good visually appealing design, which I feel is if it is not excellent, it is good enough design to showcase your information. All right. So the way you need to start doing the development is, first of all, what I have done is I have selected completely outside. As you can see, Control V. I just double clicked and it created this component, ask the question. So all in all, you need to, when it is a blank space, nothing is present, you basically need to come here in visualization. What it will show you is page level, and you go into format your report page and you come into the wallpaper, and I have chosen this color, which is, I think this is the one, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, white, 20% darker, so gray color. So that way I have dark gray, and then title can be chosen. When I will show you the title, we can choose this color, so that title is or the title header is sort of popping out from the background and clearly seen as a different component. Also, this background provides the boundaries to our component. If you will observe, for example, in this component we can clearly see we have this as a boundary. Otherwise you use like a border or something, but I am using this consistent thick border across the board just by utilizing the background color. So that's the only setting I have done at the page level. Then this is the text component, which you can create it from here, and as you can see, I'm using this font and this is a size, but for Power BI I'm using a different color. For diversity I'm using a different color, and dashboard is neutral, right? So diversity is just to show a color which is like more female oriented, like pink or slightly this orangish red color. That way it just match with the theme that we are trying to create about the diversity. Apart from that, what I have taken is the department filter and location filter. So this is something Filtering is something which is part of your dashboard discussion as to how you want to filter your entire visualization, right? So let's say after the discussions you have come out with the department and location. So we are doing nothing but we are using the slicer, as you can see, and making this changes. So if I show you very quickly, I will create a new slicer. I will going to add the department, which is over here, right? By default the marketing is selected, that's why you are seeing marketing. But then what I did is I came here, this sort of a drop down, click this, and from list I changed this to drop down. So now it is coming like this, as you can see, and marketing is selected. Now after you have selected the what I've done is I've changed the title, as you can see it over here. So for this you need to come over here, and you have this slicer header, and you change this to department, and you get the department. That's the only thing which I have done, and I am good. So I will going to delete this since it is already present. So I've shown you how you need to create a slicer for department, then simply go ahead and create it for location, which is present here, this field. Okay. So once we have the slicers created, what we can do is we need to come over here only on the first KPI, which is the diversity ratio. This is nothing but the female versus all. So how many female employees, suppose in an organization of let's say 10 employees, if you have 2 female employees, then it is 20% is the ratio. Same is the case over here. That means in this organization, in the marketing department, you have 50% female employees. Okay. And this can be color coded as well based on a threshold. If let's say at organization level, you have, for example, 30% ratio, then anything below 30% is red, anything near 25 to 35 is sort of yellow, 25% is yellow, and anything above 30% is green. So in this case, you can even do the color coding and all, but I'm just keeping that part away for now and just showing you the calculation. So this is the diversity ratio, and diversity ratio is a field that I am creating, and let me see, yeah, this is the one field with which I'm creating. So if I click it over here, you will see that I am using divide function. Within that I am using some more functions. So very first function is to find out the female employees. So this is the formula, the calculate function. In the calculate function, I am finding the active employees because active employees make sense. We don't want to get to know about employees who have left, right? Because those are irrelevant in this scenario. So we are saying calculate, and within calculate we are specifying field or calculation as active employee. Now in calculate, the first parameter is expression. Since this active employee is already an expression, so that's why I have simply specified the field. So, and that's why it is not throwing me an error. And then we are simply filtering gender equals to female, right? So once we have the female, this is the numerator, and the denominator is this, which is the total active employees. Female active employees divided by total active employees, you get this diversity as 50%. Once you get this, we did little bit of formatting, like for example in the value, I kept the value as 45 probably, but if you want to increase, you can increase from here. As you can see, if you really want to make some sort of an impression, for example, if I just go ahead and say 80, will it change? Ooh, okay, why it is not changing? How about we just say 50? Okay, for some reason it does not change when I say. Okay, so just to give you an idea what I'm doing, and I have chosen this color, which is this one. Oh no, not this one, I guess. This one. This is orange. This is more like orangish red. So this is the color which I have chosen, as you can see over here. And if I go in more color, and if you are trying to find the exact color code, this is the color code DE6A73. Okay, so this is the color which I am choosing. Now over here, if you see, I have the diversity ratio. So category label, I have kept it off, because what category label does is, if I switch it on, it shows it below here, but I want it to be consistent with other charts like a header or something. So if I uncheck this, I go here in general, in the title. Here in the title, I have specified the diversity ratio 14, and then over here I have by default, you have this header and all. So over here in the title, you have background as well. So in the background, I am choosing this first color. Okay. So that's how I am getting the background for my title, which is then consistent with the other chart. So that's all with what is going on in the diversity ratio. After that, you have the diversity ratio by year, right? So this is just to show that 50% is what we are showing you overall, right, across the years and based on the active employees. But generally, what is the trend in the marketing department? So looks like trend is sort of consistent. It has gone down in 2010, but it came up again in 2011. But in recent year, it has been close to 50%. So generally, in these scenarios, you can get an idea like maybe just once or twice you have gone below to the 30%. Let's say if that's what the target is, and generally you are above. At least you have a good and healthy mix of employees, female employees. However, another matter of concern may be in over here what has really happened, like why so many female employees have left, right? And maybe that's what have been analyzed, and after that there is a consistent uptrend, or I would say at least above the threshold of, let's say, 30% is being maintained. So this basically trend reveal the issues or the positive impact which is going on. Okay. So for this chart, as you can see, we are using the line chart, this line chart over here, and what are we doing is little bit of formatting. As you can see, we are not showing the y-axis and all, but first thing first is we are showing based on the hire date. So this is present on the x-axis. In the axis, we are showing hire date, and then values is nothing but the diversity ratio. So it is showing you the trending moves. After that, I have gone inside here. I have unchecked, or I have disabled the y-axis, and I have also disabled the title. Generally, title is not disabled, so you need to make sure that you are going in here and disabling this. Also, in case of x-axis, I have only kept the values, but I have disabled the title because it anyway gives the idea of year, and I am showing in the title over here as well. So there is no point in repeating the same information. Okay. Once we have done that, I came in here on the line, and I think over here we have the colors, and this is the color, again the same color. I'm using it over here. All right. Once you come here, I enable. Once I did this, I came in here in data labels, enable the data labels. I just made it in the values 9 bold and kept the same color, right? So that they are highlighted and catching the attention. Okay. So that's what I did mostly in this. I think I did not, in general, I just changed the title, default title to diversity ratio by here, and kept it like 14, black color, and we have this text background as the same what I did it for the KPI, right? So this is a setting that you can follow and you can do along with me. So you should get a chart like this once you have followed my steps. After that, you have female versus male employee comparison based on the title. So generally an idea I wanted to give to the users, or let's say users has this demand where they want to view the information by the title, like in a given title, how many male and female employees are present. For example, senior editor, you have equal participation, 61 male, 61 female, but here it has gone down, here it is little bit up, here it is very much less, so on and so forth. So all of this information can reveal some good idea about if you are a large organization and you have titles, then across these titles, how is your healthy diversity ratio is, or the number is when you compare the male versus female employee. So over here again, a very simple chart where I am showing you this clustered bar chart in the horizontal fashion. On the x-axis you have the job title, which is this legend. You have the gender, so that we can bifurcate between male versus female, and then in the values you have active employees, right? If you remember active employees, the count blank function. It's very simple chart. Only thing that I'm doing is going into the formatting and just making sure that I have enabled the y-axis, because we need to show this. We have enabled the x-axis, so now it is showing the active employees. If you want, you can disable this by disabling the title, and you get a little bit more space, because yeah, that's what the need is. Then legend is this, what we have shown it over here. We have the bars. Bars is where I'm changing the color, as you can see, this color. And for male, I'm showing sort of a blue color, which is this one, and then you get the chart, right? So that's the setting for male versus female employees, very straightforward. Then we go to here in the employee count by gender and race. This is where we are expanding on the idea of race rather than just gender. So we are looking at gender like male and female, and within those categories we are looking at who is dominating and who is less represented. So to create this chart, as you can see, we are using this tree map chart. And if I come here in this section, this is basically our tree map chart is. And we need to define the group by gender, that means male versus female, and within that you need to have the race. You can do vice versa as well if that what makes sense, but the reason I did gender is to basically show the consistent coloring, right? Because we at least at a dashboard level, this is what we are showing. First thing is the diversity ratio from a female employee's perspective, and then a comparison like male versus female. So this is what I just thought of is making it consistent, like blue and this sort of a reddish color, and within that we can then show the race, right? For example, if you see, in case for the marketing department, both male and female white employees are dominating, and then you have two or more races. But here the third one is the Asian male. Over here you have female, black or African as the third most represented category. So this is based on what we are seeing from the data. However, how we want to structure this is what I think is this is the best way we should do it. And what I'm showing you is the overall employee information. This is just to give an idea as to overall. However, you can also choose the active employees to get this idea. So that's something up to us. What do we want? However, I've chosen the ID over here. Whereas active employees can be chosen without any issue. After that, so in that, if you see, coloring and everything will be same. You go into the format, you look at the colors, male and female, same thing what I've chosen it over here. I have enabled the data label, the category labels, and then over here in the general, in the title, I have given this title employee count by gender and race, and then kept the background, make it centrally aligned, right? Just so that it is consistent with other charts. Finally, we have the stay duration of female employees chart. This is where I have done some settings to come to this particular chart. Okay, and this is basically, as I told you, this is where we need to have all those employees who have been terminated. Then only we can calculate the stay duration. So first thing first is we have this stay duration, right? Stay duration formula, I have shown it in my previous video, but I'll show you again. If termination date is blank, then keep it 0. That means the employee is still active. And if otherwise, subtract the hire date from the termination date and divide it by 365 to convert it into years. Right, so that we can clearly see like 0 to 5 years to 10 years, so on and so forth. Okay, So once we have this, then what we can do is we need to create a quick measure to group the data. So we click it over here and we click on the new group. Once you click on the new group, what I'm showing you is this particular one, the group, because I go into the edit group. This is the kind of a window you will going to get. Stay duration bins, bins type. You can keep the size of the bins, or you can keep the number of bins. Size of the bins, like you want to have a interval of 2, let's say, or 5 or something like that. Number of bins, like you want to have 10 bins, so 5 bins or 8 bins, and let system do automatic calculation. So what I've done is I have just said, okay, 10 bins, and system has done the calculation. Okay, each bin should be 2.1 years, right? You can always come back size of the bin and just say 2, and that's also pretty much going to be the same. So this is the setting what you need to do when you are creating this. But the whole idea is from the base calculation stay duration, click over here, click on the new group, and this window will come where you can group the information, right? So over here for this chart, if you see, we have the stay duration bins to create the histogram, right? And then we are taking the count of ID, because count of ID is basically all of the employees. However, we want to take the only the employees which have left the organization. So what I have done is I have come here in the filters. If the filter pane is not enabled, you can go into the view and check this filters. Okay, so in this filter pane, what I have done is I have done two things. One is gender, I have kept it female, as you can see, right? Basic filtering, female. And over here, term date, right, is I have just unchecked the blank. That way, you know, our information for the count of ID will appear, because blank will indicate that these are active employees. However, the stay duration or base calculation and the chart idea is we want to know how early or how much, what is basically the stay of employees, female employees you have within the organization, and shows generally, you know, 2 to 4 years, and over here it's like 12 to 14 years what they have stayed. But here they tend to leave quickly, or when they are in early stage they tend to leave quickly. Like you have only 1 employee who have left, or you have 5 employees who have left here, or you have 5 employees who have left here. So this is just to get an idea as to any sort of pattern that is emerging. For example, if there are many people or many employees who are leaving early, like in 0 to 2 years, that means it's definitely an issue. Or like 2 to 4 years or 4 to 6 years, then it is sort of a middle middle career issue. No, I would not say middle year, but early career issue. Middle career issue is somewhere around 5 to 10 years of tenure, where if you see in 5 to 10 years, if there is a bar is high, that means a clear pattern of people leave you when they are slightly experienced, like 6 years, 7 years, 8 years in the organization. So this is just to show that particular trend. Right, so that means you have to take care of the employees who are in 2 to 4 years of experience, because that's where data is showing that people are leaving you, right? So that's something I wanted to show as the last chart. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What's going on in this dashboard, and as you can see, within like 30 minutes. We have done this. If you have followed me, obviously it would have taken a little bit of time to do all that setting, because even for me, I think this dashboard, after many permutation combination, thinking about the design, was completed in some 45 to 60 minutes. But all this explanation took me like within 30 minutes we were able to do that. So with that information, I want to take a leave here, where I will now think about something new. What more I can show you as a good design and as a good dashboard with good number of calculations and things like those. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll meet you in the next video with a new topic.